Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. It is Markets in the Morning on a Friday. Let us go. Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is the Blockchain Backer, bringing you the latest cryptocurrency news and analysis. Welcome to Markets in the Morning. Today is Friday, February 16th, 2024. This is Markets in the Morning, where we take a look at the price action of the Bitcoin price chart and the altcoin market as we get ready for the United States stock market to open up in 1 minute from right now. Of course, we'll peek over there at the United States Dollar Currency Index, the DXY, and gold, along with taking a look over there at any type of financial news or any type of crypto news to get our day kicked off. Of course, the major thing going on out there in crypto is you can see the location of where Bitcoin is at. A long, grueling fight for us to finally get back here. We're at the 702 Fibonacci retracement. Everybody on pins and needles to see how it's going to react in here. So yesterday in Markets in the Morning, we watched it creep closer and closer and closer and then stalled out and has still not been able to get through there. This is very similar, kind of like just on a really small time frame, like distribution here, ABC, that eventually corrects, and we'll have to kind of go from there. But still just stalled out, happening right up here near the 702 Fibonacci retracement for Bitcoin. The altcoin market has still continued that march up higher. We spent quite a bit of time talking about this on Monday. I put out a video on Monday talking about the altcoin market. It's just very clear. Accumulation schematics, it's what we spent a whole year and a half going through. And then working on that sign of strength phase, escaping there. We talked about that in the week prior. We talked about it with gold's accumulation schematic and escaping, right? That you eventually have your sign of strength phase that happens on top of preliminary support. That's what we just got through with over here on the altcoin market. After that, once you escape, you actually do usually kind of waddle around in here. It's not just in gold. It's just a typical thing that does end up happening. At some point, I do expect we're probably just going to pull back in here. All this excitement's going to fade here for a minute as it pulls back in here. And then we'll see what kind of distribution, which is what I think we are going to see over here for Bitcoin in these retracement levels, does end up happening. Like in examples like this, where we have really kind of the initial sell-off that happens in here. For example, news event, right? What did we have happen here? Tesla buys Bitcoin. Elon Musk is a Bitcoiner. Yay. Sells. And then there's just this long distribution, right? It fires up to new high. ABC corrects back down. And then it just keeps doing this. Laser eyes, diamond hands, all types of euphoria, right? Wall Street bets, all kinds of craziness. Wasn't able to push the price up any higher. So long as we're in the retracement levels, this is kind of the thoughts that I kind of have to have while we're still sitting right in here. And what would a distribution schematic look like? Thoughts are really that we do end up seeing some type of ABC actually end up emerging in here. And then we just distribute even longer. Like I've said, I'll put my tinfoil hat on. I think this is the banks distributing Bitcoin via the ETF onto retail investors. Most hated man on Twitter for saying that it's not spot buying happening by institutions and that retail front run the institutions. I'm going to take the other approach and say, no, they didn't get caught by surprise at all. They know exactly what they're doing. Narratives are narratives, but we're back at the 702 retracement. Whatever they need to say to buy it here, that's just kind of what it ends up taking. As for this is like, if we had something like this, it would make perfect logical sense that at that point, this is where we're having this pullback. I've talked about that in here too, right? This is really where you end up kind of seeing that things actually do start gaining a little bit of momentum there in a moment like right there. So having some type of ABC, and then that's where you see the really big rotation really set into the market. Happening in here. So that's just kind of what my thoughts are right now as we sit at the 702 retracement for Bitcoin. If Bitcoin blasts through the 702, which I find to be highly unlikely that we're going to get through all these retracement levels, but if it does, probably absolute insane euphoria happening throughout the altcoin market. But I do like to reiterate, I just put out a newsletter in here. The economic conditions are 100% not there for Bitcoin to be able to do that like it has in its 2013, 2017, and 2021 bull run. None of those economic conditions are present right now that were present at that time. So keep that in mind. That if you're thinking, 4-year cycles, all that kind of stuff, we'll go back and question yourself of what was it that actually ended up happening in the markets during those times for that to occur. Those conditions are not present. However, we are seeing similar behavior like this happening over there in the United States stock market. For example, you have the NASDAQ, you have the S&P, you have the Dow Jones all in all-time highs, right? But it's very consolidated. If you haven't heard, the breadth of the United States stock market is very poor right now, which means it's really just a handful of stocks that are really propping up the whole stock market. And a way to look at that is to look at the Russell 2000, which is the top 2,000 stocks in the United States stock market. And it has only done a 50% retracement of the entire market. So you've seen the breadth really be very poor happening in the stock market. Typically in moments like this where you're having new bull runs begin, you're actually you see the Russell go with it. You see the breadth of the market open up. You see everything move up with it, which we're not seeing. However, it wouldn't be surprising to see something similar to that happen where you see things like Microsoft, Nvidia, Apple, what are the other really ridiculous ones? Netflix, Meta, all those things cool off, and then the breadth opens up a little bit for a while over there in the stock market to allow that Russell 2000 to catch back up. Thoughts are the same over here in crypto right now. That same thing happens in here. The breadth opens up as Bitcoin cools off and pulls back in here, and that we don't actually see as deep of a pullback happen over here in the altcoin market. That this is very clear Wyckoff accumulation, that there would still be a pullback in here, and not necessarily holding right there on top of the high at like $848 billion, but potentially getting as low as like 818. You'd probably see a sentiment shift happen throughout the market. You see a lot of excitement right now. You, of course, you see a lot of like on edge because, of course, we're back at these retracement levels. So it's a mix of kind of both. But you would definitely see the same thing we always see in this market, right? Prices are up. Everybody's euphoric. They've got all the narratives. Prices go down. They change all the narratives. They change everything and shift everything. But it'd be very normal to pull back to here. And then as we then go on to continue distribution happening in here, this is where everything really starts to take off in the market. So it's exciting to see prices move up. It's exciting to see us actually leave this range happening right in here. But I come with the perspective of that, Bitcoin is in distribution in here. If my idea is correct that we are in distribution within Bitcoin, we're still probably going to calm down for just a minute until we can actually get another correction to happen in here for Bitcoin. And this is the moment where we pack on the rocket ships, where we get all excited to see if this market can actually gain some real traction in here. And that would be the moment for me at that point. One thing that would kind of corroborate that is we've been talking about XRP. We've been following this, right? The structure, boom, it holds exactly where we expected for it to hold. It ends up setting the low. You get the negative news event to occur at the exact same time. That's a strong signal many times. Anybody who tries to trade the news wire, you will always find that you are getting wrong-footed on the wrong side because for some reason, positive news comes at tops. Negative news comes at bottoms. It just seems to always end up happening like that. For example, FTX, right? Of course, we got the Bitcoin ETFs happening right back here at the 618 and 702 retracements. So everybody's euphoric back at the retracements because news is so good. But we had the same thing happen down here, right? We got that with the Chris Larson hack happen down there, $112 million happening in there. But to corroborate the idea that, look, there's still probably going to be some pulling back that happens in here. This isn't like the catapult moment that is happening today or tomorrow or really in the next week, but it might take a couple of weeks after that, is if this thing has to do a little bit of a correction in here, which I think it will, along with the altcoin market pulling back. It also corroborates the things that we've been talking about in here, that there would still be a correction pulling back down here, and likely for XRP having to kind of pull back down in here to about 54 cents, settle there for a little while and see if we can gain momentum to keep this thing going, right? This was step one. Step one, find the support, get back above 54 cents. Now it's like the $1 million question of, can we go ahead and find that support on 54 cents and catapult this thing? One, do we have the conditions in the market right now where there's euphoria, there's excitement, there's animal spirits, there's excessive risk taking, there's irrational exuberance, there's people who are full of false beliefs that think, echo bubble and stuff like that. We're in it, right? Go live a year ago. Were we like that? No, right? If you were a bull a year ago, you were chastised and just grilled to the wall. But now, if you're not a bull, you're dumb, right? That's what you want, right? Those are the conditions that we look for. It's the sentiment you look for, the animal spirits to be alive in here. So we have those animal spirits, but the thing to be mindful of is that it doesn't actually end up losing that, right? To end up losing that 54 cents to come back down, that would be very devastating happening over here. So we're going to kind of go through this bigger moment right now to say, we need to come in here, hold some supports in here, as we should, and not go losing them. And if we end up losing them, then it becomes a really more bleak picture. The nice thing about this moment in here is we're already into the depths of like the rollover. Everything's bad. Everything's hitting the fan. Everything sucks in the market at this point. It's just trash, right? We had already topped for Bitcoin back in here. We're way over here. We're deep into it. Bitcoin by this point has already fallen down to $35,000 at this point, and it's just trash happening over there in Bitcoin, and the whole market is rolled over. The stock market is rolled over, all that stuff. That's not the conditions that we have right now in the market. We have the animal spirits very alive, which is what we would be looking for in an environment like that. It also corroborates the things that I think in here, and that this would be distribution, and that's the moments where things get really exciting. But that is going to be the thing for the XRP price chart moving forward, is that I don't think it's going to shoot its way straight out of here right now. I think it is going to settle, but I think that's also what we're probably going to see over here in total too at the same time, and what we're going to see over here in Bitcoin. But it's that moment after that, it's after that settling happening in there in distribution, that we end up seeing things really get going in there. So that's what I'm looking forward to. That's my most bullish view that I have. Obviously, the thing that would catch me by surprise would be if the market just completely rampages up even higher. Not going to impact me from Bitcoin. As you know, percentages mean everything. Price does not. I do not give two rats tails about Bitcoin going higher from a percentage standpoint, but what it would be is very exciting for the rest of the market, right? There's just not much percentage in here, and you can tell that by Bitcoin are celebrating every $1,000 at this point, which is 2%, right? You get this stuff over here, 16% in a day. Imagine if Bitcoin did 16% in a day. It'd be a monstrous move. It'd be like 10 grand. We just don't see those things. It just doesn't interest me in here. But if it did go up really high, oh my gosh, probably be absolutely nuts for the altcoin market. It is just definitely not my base case and not something I'm interested in paying attention to with Bitcoin. I believe I have the strong feeling of distribution happening in here with Bitcoin at this point. So that's my views. And I do think we're going to see pullbacks happening over here, like in total two. We have escaped from the sign of strength phase, which lasted over 2 months, but it's very common to go back and test that as support one time before we actually do end up moving up higher. And that also corroborates what I think is actually going on over here on XRP, because we've been talking about this for some time. What were we looking for? We were looking for us to backtest that level, that it would be a fake bottom, that people typically believe the real bottom is in, and then the next one is the one that shakes them out, and it's absolutely brutal, and everybody gives up on that one. What ended up happening? Boom, it goes down. Chris Larson, it becomes absolutely negative. What has the sentiment on Twitter been like for XRP for the last 2 weeks? Gigs up, game's over, it's trash. Even long-term holder people just super, super negative out there. That's typical, normal behavior. That's what you want. That's what you see at the lows. Fantastic to see that. But the thing was to pull back out of here and now back test. So that's going to be the thing that we're watching very closely. Make sure we hold it. Do not lose it. Holding is going to be important moving forward. Whether a wick or whatnot, it's not really going to be the concern in here. It's really going to be if we just lose it and head back down to these lows. We head back down to those lows again. Yuck. Not pretty. But right now, this is exactly what we're wanting, exactly what we're looking for. And I don't think it's breaking out and shooting to the moon just yet. I do think we're going to pull back in here. I think we're going to see the same thing with Total 2. I think we're going to see the same thing with Bitcoin. But otherwise, what a positive week in crypto. What a positive week that we have had. Moving on over to the United States stock market, which is now open. The Dow Jones is down 167 points. The NASDAQ is down 14, and the S&P is down 10, coming off of being actually up in overnight trading. However, this morning, about an hour and 13 minutes ago, we got the PPI data, which is the Producer Price Index, which is the leading indicator for the CPI, the Consumer Price Index for inflation. A complete miss. Inflation coming in hotter than expected for manufacturers. So if it's coming in hotter for manufacturers, who's it going to come in hot for next? The consumer, right? So if the manufacturers are paying more, the consumer is going to end up paying more. So once again, the reality that the Fed is likely trapped, the Fed has likely been checkmated in this whole thing that they've been trying to do. And that, inflation is not going to go down significantly more than where it's already at. And all those who were hoping for a raging bull and that for some reason rate cuts would continue to give them that, even though you have no historical basis for that, dream might be dying. So markets went red very fast after that PPI data came out. Big miss over there on Producer Price Index. Same time, gold had a little bit of a pop up, of course, coming off of yesterday's move down. You actually did see the Dow Jones up over 300 points yesterday. NASDAQ, uneventful. Overnight trading in NASDAQ was up because of Coinbase's data coming out. Coinbase profitable, up 16% today. So Coinbase having a huge day. That was a big driver there for the NASDAQ overnight. But now that this PPI data has come out, the NASDAQ has slipped into the red there. So we have red. Looking over there at precious metals, you actually do have gold. I thought it was the upside. It's been washing machining itself. Gold is now down $6. Was flat just a minute ago. Silver is up slightly. Platinum is up. Copper is up. There you have it. With the DXY also up. So there you go. DXY. I'm in the camp that this thing could stall out at any point here for the DXY. We've already gotten a 618 retracement happening in here. I've just kind of left this squiggle line on here at this point, but we're now getting into the point where we've been reaching pretty dang close. So we'll see if that thing can roll itself over at some point soon. But there you have it. Bitcoin back at the retracement, still at 52K this morning, but not able to get through that 702 retracement. Total 2, able to clear through levels. Still, I think we're going to see pullback before we really get this thing moving in the next couple of weeks. XRP, the story is the exact same. It escaped, but this is the type of escape we were looking for to happen in here. Now it's going to be about a successful back test coming out of here. Lost the level. I think the thing that makes me feel good is how bad that news was right there at that bottom when we totally anticipated this back test that would be a fake out of people believing it was the bottom. Then we got the real one, and then you got the terrible news and the sentiment being so bad at the bottom. It's what you really want, super negative sentiment. You want super offside sentiment happening in anything to just confirm a reversal. And if you don't know, that's really the name of the game on this channel, and that's what we're always trying to do. It's one of the reasons it's hard for me to grow the channel great, because I'm not grifting on whatever is going on right now. The best thing I could do right now is to go create YouTube videos and say, Bitcoin is going to the moon. Which, if I would have been down here saying Bitcoin's going to 12K, it's what the audience wants to hear. It's not what I provide. I look for the actual reversals. I'm here to try to catch the reversals the best that I can. That means that you're going to be hated by retail on every side. At the lows, they're going to be screaming for lower. At the highs, they're going to be screaming for higher. Retail does it every time. It's just the herd. It's important to watch the herd, right? So we saw a lot of negative sentiment happen down in here. That's a good indicator to see happening. But now we just need to get that successful back test to come in here. Otherwise, a good week, a breakout week happening. Breakout week for the altcoin market happening in here. Breakout for XRP happening. Now, the next coming weeks is likely going to be backtest weeks. So that's just kind of where my mind is heading to as we look forward. Again, I'm always trying to stay 2 steps ahead. The videos that I've been putting out have been pretty much talking about exactly this. So if you haven't caught the last 2 videos that I've put out, I think they're highly relevant to what we're talking about today. Otherwise, great weeks in here for crypto in general. A step in the right direction, things we wanted. And mainly, like, one of the big things to see, of course, is you don't want to see, like, you get back in here, you get to these retracement levels, and then you go for another C leg, right? That's always a concern happening in there. So this was a big successful thing to see happen. It's like, all right, cool. Like, we get to move on and move to a new phase. Doesn't mean we're, like, mooning today. But it's the next phase of what ends up coming. So a successful backtest happening in here, a successful backtest happening for XRP, and here's the thing we'll be looking for in the coming weeks. And an ABC correction coming out of Bitcoin in a distribution phase. So, all right, there you have it. United States stock market, Dow Jones down 105, NASDAQ down 36, S&P down 10. Coinbase, the leader today, followed by NVIDIA and Tesla. Losers are Roblox, Meta, Ford, and Netflix. Moving on over to Fed. Let's take a look at what they have to say over here. Now that the producer price index has come in, saying that manufacturers are paying more for their... What is going on here? All right, you broke. Moving on to January wholesale prices, more than expected. Nike lays off 2% of employees. What will retail look like in 5 years? Top industry executives share their predictions. Stock making the biggest moves pre-market. Super Microcomputer, Dropbox, DoorDash, and more. Here's Friday's biggest market analyst calls. NVIDIA, Nike, Tesla, Coinbase, ARM, Meta, Eli Lilly, UBS. Coinbase shares surge in pre-market. Getting through it all quick today. Alexei Navalny, jailed activist who defied Putin, dies at 47. Okay, some dude died walking around in a prison yard in Russia. Okay. Western leaders, yeah, Putin, that. U.S. producer prices increased by more than forecast in January. Bond yields jump on PPI as traders pair Fed bets. So yields are up. Let's go look. Yields up, nothing huge. I mean, they're not anything to cry at, but you know we've seen bigger in the last couple of weeks. Hedge fund investors are getting more demanding about charges. Banks are piling back into everything from mortgage debt to CLOs. OpenAI's Sam Altman seeks U.S. blessing to raise billions for AI chips. Deutsche Bank ends prized COVID custom 4-day weekends from home. What? They were getting 4-day weekends? Okay, XCAD founder defends YouTube KSI against pump and dump allegations. Bitcoin bulls flirt with 69K price target as crypto market nears 2 trillion. It doesn't sound like Cointelegraph is updating any other stories. Is this the best NFT collection in the world? We got crypto is inevitable, so we went all in. Things you don't hear at the bottom. Right? Coinmetrics research shows Bitcoin and ETH are immune to 51% attacks. Bitcoin's latest rally is different, and Bitcoin rises alongside US dollar and treasury yields. Bitcoin has managed to chalk out double-digit rally recently, ignoring the strength of the dollar index and treasury yields. Sam Bankman-Fried's sentence might be lighter than you'd expect. Restitution paid to victims can be considered when sentencing. Exactly. That's one thing I was thinking about the other day, literally yesterday. I was thinking to myself, with this market being up like this and FTX being able to sell Bitcoin onto retail, sell Solana onto retail, and get a lot of this money back. And like, wasn't it recently? I'm quite certain. Hold on. Sam Bankman-Fried's sentencing pushed back. In December, Sam Bankman-Fried's lawyers tried to push back the sentencing hearing, arguing that for fairness and efficiency, the court should consider the relevant conduct all at once in a single sentencing hearing. He had hoped to delay the sentencing until May of 2024. Here, 6 days ago, on CNBC. As Sam Bankman-Fried awaits prison sentencing, FTX customers await a surprise full repayment. Yeah, right? Like, think about that, on how that's happening. As Sam Bankman-Fried awaits prison sentence, FTX customers await a surprise, full repayment. So if they're able to fully repay, right? And so this was Saturday, February 12th. Bankruptcy lawyers, FTX estate last week to pay back all customers. Optimism largely from the rebound of the crypto market, right? So what happens if, like, dude, what happens if all customers get repaid before his sentencing? Was this all part of the plan? Washed out everybody at the bottom with FTX, who's like a government insider, right? Meeting with Gary Gensler. Elizabeth Warren and him have been dating for a couple of years. And then suddenly, all customers get repaid before his sentencing. And what if he doesn't like get a hard sentencing at all or anything or just time served? And like he's actually like living in like a couch somewhere, like playing whatever that game was he was always playing. So, right? What if everybody gets repaid before his sentencing? Be the most corrupt crap ever is what it would be. I mean, not that people are getting repaid, but that it just smells horrid. It smells like this whole thing was all an intentional political thing that happened with FTX. Okay. Wait, we already did this. Okay, that's it. Bitcoin 51 to 805. Market slipping into the red. Like I think we are entering into that correction territory time where things will just settle down in here. And so this will be kind of this will be my expectation for the coming week or two. But it was a successful week, a successful move out of the range is what we really needed this week. We ended up getting it. Now it's just going to be kind of settling back down on top of the breakout and seeing if we can continue on from there. So I hope that you guys had a good week. It's been a really good week over here in crypto. As for those who are cheering for it to go above the 702 retracement for Bitcoin, good luck. I'm not on board with that, but good luck to you. It doesn't make me your enemy. I hope that you listened the whole way up and you didn't just discover me right now and you're like, what a jerk. Like, I hope that is not your experience. So, all right, guys, that's going to be it. Let's go ahead and hop on into the chat. George Alexanderopoulos gifted 5 BCB memberships. Brother, thank you so much. You and Eric Reamer both before the chat, before the stream even started, had each gifted 5. Eric, thank you as well. James Bishop, right when we were getting started, said BCB the best. Please smash that like button. Thank you very much for reminding me of that. If you could, guys, please hit the like button. It's the #1 way to support the channel. Hans Loaded gifted a BCB membership as well as we got started. Right? Were we live yet? No, we weren't live yet. Hans, thank you. 702, man. Eric Martinson says, happy birthday, BCB. I hope all your birthday wishes come true. Remember to hit that like button. Thank you very much, Eric. It's like it's my birthday every day, getting to come on here onto this YouTube channel. Thank you. Human, here since 2020. Thank you for everything, BCB. Thank you so much, Human. What a ride we have been on. Jaxer4, good morning, Dad. Did you hear about the cyber criminals that got away? They ran somewhere. Thanks for the show. My wife would love it. I'm not a huge dad joke guy. It's more of like painful for me with dad jokes. Like they just don't like trigger me really hard. But my wife absolutely loses it on dad jokes. So like so she loves to tell them to me because she knows I'm just going to kind of be like, wow, brutally bad. And she is rolling on the floor, losing her mind. And she finds it even more funny because she already finds it really funny and then tells it to me and it's not funny at all to me. And then she just completely loses her mind because that's funny to her as well. So, yeah. Thanks, Jaxer. Polish Proton, new member, welcome. Ryan Chase says, good morning, BCB. Have you noticed the VTHO gas token for VeChain just broke out of SOS and is entering phase E? I'm expecting other else to follow your teachings on Wyckoff. Help me make some killer plays lately. Hit the like button. Oh, it's awesome, Ryan. Yeah, like, okay, like, I'm not going to show this chart to be like, hey, this is a bite. This is to say, look, this is exactly what we're seeing happening in here, right? This is your sign. This is your sign of strength phase happening in here. Right? This is beautiful Wyckoff, sign of strength phase, and boom, it just completely exits in here. And you see those same types of things just all over the place in this market. That they're in that sign of strength phase happening in there, ready for that just escape thing to eventually happen. And if you look around throughout the market, this is just such a great example of it, because you can find this everywhere. You can find this in many, many places if you go looking around, where they're still going to be like right in here. Right. So it's nice to see that, because that is wonderful Wyckoff that has happened in here with a nice sign of strength phase right on top, preliminary support, and then boom, escapes. So gorgeous. Bet. Remember, for 6 months. And hi, BCB. Do you research how the 1997 Asian crisis took place, since we compare the upcoming crisis only with the Great Depression 2008 financial crisis? I have not looked at the 1997 Chinese crisis. No. No, sir. Just United States. Eric, thank you, sir. Eric Martinson, why did XRP decide to go to the moon? Because it heard there were plenty of lunatics waiting to invest. XRP to the moon when Lambo. Oh no, here we go. The dad jokes are pouring in. I need sound effects. I need to like be a professional streamer. Like, as you can tell, we still don't even play the real intro. I need to just ask TXMC to show me how to do that, because he does it on his. It can't be that hard. I just sit here and open up the file and just go, here we go. I'm playing the video on my own screen. You can't hear it. And then, like, I'm just sitting here watching my intro. I see me jumping all around, having a good time. But all you guys are seeing is this. And I'm just sitting here silent. I'm like, yeah. Grab that candle. Get through that 702. Moon. All right. We're losing it here. Samuel Wobble. I've been with you since the 22.5 days. I appreciate your consistency and positive vibes. Positive attitude with a bit of spice. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it, Samuel. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to look back on that and be like, those were the hardest days we've ever been through. We've had many hard days since then. But that, of course, is a group of people when we were here, because the channel was only what? I don't know how old the channel was in 22.5. It wasn't bad, right? It was right here. September and October was the 22.5 time. And then we blasted out of there. And then the SEC came after us right there. Right when Bitcoin broke through its all-time high, the SEC said, hey, this is where all the altcoins take off, but you can't. And then Ethereum goes, everything goes. What a time. What a time we have endured. If anybody deserves to be paid, it is not these, hey, it's sound money with volcanoes. Michael Saylor. It's not those guys. It's the dudes who have been through the ringer and back. All right. And I'm talking about XRP, of course. All right. Michael J. Love. When moon, when new arrows. Hey, people. Oh, yeah. Oh, God, I'm just a terrible streamer, man. Hit the like button. It's free. Thanks, BCB, for keeping it real. Much love, Michael, a.k.a. Dr. Love. Thank you. Man, I was really loud when I said that. It probably broke your microphones or broke your speakers in your phones today. Michael, thank you very much. As he says, hit the like button. Thanks for keeping it real. Much love. Thank you, brother. Rick Dirks. Someone said a few lives ago that Sia Coin has developer activity. You said that you would research it. Have you found anything? Well, I did it live on stream. We looked at sentiment. I didn't see anything. I just haven't seen anything like creeping across my feed anywhere or anything like that. And I don't know where they saw developer activity, because it's not coming up in any of my sources. right? Obviously, Sia Coin's crushing it. Sia Coin is one of those ones that it's just like there's really nothing. There's nothing happening with it, like in regards to development or in regards to like adoption, but it's like an OG coin. And it's not like the chart doesn't look bad. Like the chart looks real interesting. I do own some just because I've had it for years, like way down in here. And it was one of those just got locked away and became more of a nuisance to go get it than not to. And it's very interesting, but I would not like seriously, like I don't see anything developer wise, right? Like, so big caution. Like this is more of like, unless there's something I'm not seeing that never comes across my feed, I can't find it anywhere. Let me see. What's the Sia Coin Foundation doing? Is that even the real Sia Coin Foundation? Sia with 2 underscores? I don't even know. I don't know. We'll move on. I'm just sitting here reading articles with thousands of people watching. We got Sia Coin on the screen. All right. I don't know, man. If anybody finds anything on it, show it to me. Crypto Quester asks, can I take a look at a chart that I've never heard of? Man, guys, yeah, we're not doing altcoin requests. Just when we have 3,000 people in here, I get it all the time. You know, there's 3,000 people in here. Somebody will donate $1.99 and ask for an altcoin chart request. I can't do it. And I'm looking on Coin Market Cap. I don't even see the coin that you're asking for, brother. All right. Unless if that's a stock, which I'm not familiar with. But thank you, Crypto Quester. Stephen Edinburgh, my brother, gifts a BCB membership. SH, thank you, sir. SH says, planning on injecting any of the 20% during a pullback. I don't know. Like I like with XRP, I've got a clear entry and a clear invalidation on it for me. So I may stab this one here, stop here, which is a pretty big, it's a pretty wide gap. That's over 10%. But you know, I mean, I'm so positioned in this altcoin market. I know these Bitcoiners will love to just narrative build it that I'm like sidelined or something, which I'm not. But you know, it'd have to be something deeper. It'd have to be something deeper, like, you know, and like sometimes it's nice to just get paid a little bit, man. I've had a lot of money in this market for a long time, and it actually felt a little good to just kind of take a little bit off and kind of just breathe with it for a minute. It felt good. So there'll be some re-entered here, but it'll have a very clear stop below the lows because it shouldn't take that out, right? If it does, if I go get scam wicked by it and get stopped out, I mean, then it shoots to the moon. That's life. That's how it goes. But yeah, that'd probably be the only one. Just because I'm fully loaded, man. Like when I started putting out all those newsletters on developer activity and stuff, we're all way down here. So I'd been doing all this research on all this stuff throughout here and it isolated all these things. And the market just ripped, right? So like I got things really set nicely before all of this. So like, and like if you've been following the newsletters, we've been kind of tracking to see how has development activity coins done during the versus the top 20. And like they've just been ripping and killing it versus the top 20, like more than double the return of what the top 20 has done. So it's not like I'm like without exposure to this market. There's a lot of exposure happening here right now, a lot. Just I've definitely reduced this bad boy big time. Right, this was a great run. We got all the way back here. And, it's real funny for me with something like this, though, how we could go through such a difficult time and remaining positive, remaining upbeat about getting to these retracement levels. And then we get here and we talk about it for forever, like forever, that when we get back there, retail is going to go euphoric and retail is going to buy it. And like, I've been talking with TXMC. I'm like, can you believe it, man? We're kind of like living in that moment, right? Like just living in it, where if like you talk about it for forever and they're like, never going to happen, 12K, never going to happen. And then you get here and they're like, we're never going down. And it's just, you can talk about it and talk about it. And like, I've tried to express that from going through those experiences so many times. And you're getting to live and breathe it now and get to see it and maybe even feel it emotionally or feeling it. You're kind of like, I don't know. Like it could totally move from here, right? Like is everybody wrong? Or is everybody right and just BCB is wrong? He's just being a dingus, right? That's kind of what you kind of got to go and then your own, my voice is whatever. My voice should just be a part of your research, right? Like everything I teach, but it's just, you live in it. It's crazy, right? It's amazing. And it's only because I've done it. So this is not my first rodeo. That's like, as I've done here. This is not my first rodeo. Not my first rodeo. Hans, again, with a membership. Brother, thank you. Brittany Blue, member for 8 months. I just want to say thank you for all that you do. BCB is the GOAT. LFG. Thank you very much, Brittany. Alex Watson. Happy Friday, BCB. Have a great weekend, legend. Yeah, thank you very much, Alex. I hope all of you have an absolutely wonderful weekend. I'm ready for it, man. I'm ready for it for sure. Been a busy week. Crazy week. And I already know too with this weekend, I'm gonna kind of like every 20 minutes be saying, "Hey, how we doing there?" Okay. Hey, how? Okay. And of course, like the first thing I do when I wake up at like 3:45 in the morning, where's my phone? Oh, there it is. It's stuck to the side of my face. What's the prices? Okay. And then going to sleep late because here I am, like on my phone looking at this stuff when I should be going to sleep. Instead, I'm doing this. Instead of watching my Egypt shows, I'm looking at mummies and stuff. I'm staring at prices. Agent 412, Celsius has distributed funds back to its customers in Ethereum and Bitcoin. What effect does that have on the market? None. Right? Now, what your favorite content creators will do is whenever the prices fall, okay, get ready for this. Are you ready for it? We're on a technical level. Whenever the prices fall, they're going to latch onto a narrative and say, here's why nobody could have saw it coming. Oh, that stinks. It's their fault. I've seen it. It's just a repetitive over and over and over. And the general public doesn't realize the game that gets played on them over and over and over again. These analysts, news, right? Sometimes we just get it wrong, right? That's just life, man. We get it wrong sometimes, but over and over, it's the narrative. It's the narrative. Nobody could have saw it. It's the narrative, right? Sorry. We just get it wrong sometimes, but the narrative, like, I am telling you, the elements for a Bitcoin bull run right here are not present like they were in 2013, 2017, and 2021. They are not there at all. So get ready for everyone to point to whatever narrative comes to say otherwise. Yeah, so it doesn't matter. Celsius means nothing to me. John Lively, did you hear about the guy who touched computers? Okay, I can't do that one, bro. I can't do that one, man. Thank you, John. KB gifted 1 BCB membership. Brother, thank you. Then he gifted another one. Thanks, KB. Ethan Davis, the Substack has changed my life. You saved my marriage, and you helped me lose 50 pounds. All jokes aside, if you care about your portfolio, got it. Well, thank you very much, Ethan. The point is just research data, right? So this is, I try to remove any opinions out of the newsletters because it's not the point of them is to be opinionated. And I do know sometimes I obviously express my opinion on the charts. But when we show things, the only reason we even show these things in the first place is because these are historical problems. These are historical issues. Like when we rounded out the bottom all throughout here, and yes, it took a long time for it to turn back up and gain the momentum, but it's not until the momentum goes fast that the crowd piles in. The crowd's impatient. They want it all to happen fast. And when they get back to it, like, yeah, let's go. But all the technical stuff was there, right? And we showed it over and over and over again. How many times did you guys see it, right? Like, why does this look funny to me? There we go. Like you had to get sick of this at the bottom, right? That this market, the peak was over here, and that all the indicators showed that it was over here, right? This was the top of the market. And so what happened is the majority of the participants in the market thought we were only in the beginning of a bear when we had this fall, that we had just started, we had a long ways to go, and that we could still go down another leg, which didn't make any sense no matter how you looked at it. You couldn't go set a new low after that. And that all your indicators had bottomed and pulled off. You right? Remember all this? All the talk of the stochastic RSI coming off the lows, being like, "Hey, look, show me an example where we have the RSI, the stochastic RSI, coming off the lows like this, and the bottom wasn't already in, right?" So anything I'm showing, like, it's going to be based on historical data, right? Like you can argue with me and say you're wrong. It's like this isn't like. This is data. Like either go with the data or don't. Like, no, I need narratives. I need influencer narratives. It's like, all right, man, bro. Jeez. Okay, how am I on this tangent again? I was talking about my Substack. What the heck happened? Okay, I'm supposed to be like pitching this thing. Like some dude just said it's great, and I'm over here just like rambling. Yeah, get the newsletter. It's all data packed, right? And so like you get it, right? I don't put these things together like to like write a diary or anything. There's effort put into them. Check them out. You'll understand my views a lot more. And if you ever find it like, he says that the Fed cutting rates isn't bullish, like. I show you why, very clearly why. I show you why the rally we're seeing in the stock market right now is just like all rallies that fail. All, right? It's like we don't have the same conditions here for Bitcoin. I pray for those. I feel bad for the narrative followers because you always know it. Anybody here who has been in this market since here, and what it does appear is that we don't really have very many new people into the market right now. It feels like we do just have kind of like the same people. There hasn't been this big surge of new people come into the market. So most of you, dude, let's do a poll. Let's do it, dude. Hold on, we're gonna find out. Have you been in this market since before FTX collapsed? Or here, have you stayed in this market? Okay. Stayed in this market. So like not people who like, I sold here, but now I'm back. Like, I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about the people who like stayed down here near the lows. Okay. So did you stay here throughout all of it? Or did you kind of leave and come back? Okay. Or are you new? If you're new, hit no. If you stayed here, you were here through all of this, hit yes. How many votes are we at? 240 votes, 306 votes, 96% people through all of it. So, right, we don't have like a ton of new people here, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 432, 96% of people here through the whole thing. Where are all the new people at? Okay. Dang, 96%. Crazy. Okay. I'll let that run for another minute, but I got to keep going. Okay. LLY is a top 10 stock. Okay. Just made a dingus out of myself. What do these people make? I obviously don't even know. When I see these charts, I think to myself, we're all gonna die. We're dead. All right, 97% of 595 votes, 97% of people have stayed in the market since before the FTX collapse. No new people. Oh, we dropped to 96 right when I ended it. So anyway, the point I was making, like the people who have been here, so 96% of you, you've lived through it, right? Like you've gone through the narrative stuff. You've already experienced the narrative stuff and how the narrative is a lie, right? So if you were here, 96% of people were here through the FTX collapse. Those same people were here, and those same people were here and here, because no new people came in here. All the new people of the 2021 run, they all came in here. So those people went through here, 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 and now here. So go like relive your narratives, right? Wall Street bets, laser eyes, diamond hands, we're going to the moon, inflation, Fed, money printing, price that is unable to do anything, right? Elon Musk, Tesla, buying Bitcoin on the balance sheet, right? Elon Musk on Saturday Night Live, and then it collapses, right? China bans Bitcoin mining. It's the end of the world. Tesla now hates Bitcoin and doesn't accept Bitcoin anymore. And it's just complete, utter garbage trash. Just admit it's a bear market. Goes into a new high, right? No, it's not stopping here. It's going to 100K. It's going to the moon. We're never, ever stopping on this literal day right here. Wednesday, November 10th. The CEO of Apple goes on to CNBC and says that Ethereum and Bitcoin should be part of everybody's portfolio. I instantly run and hit the sell button that day. I record final exit video for Ethereum that day, and that was the end, and that's the top, right? Right now, if Tim Cook did something like that, it probably wouldn't have the impact that it does today. Unlike if like the CEO of NVIDIA went on and did it today, right? Like that's the impact of what it was back here. Retail investors loved Apple and Tesla back then. That was their big dream. Their big wet dream was Apple and Tesla. They've moved on to different stocks now, but right. So when the Tim Cook coming on there, not quite the same effect as Elon Musk, but second best CEO to come and do something like that. And he does it at the Pico top. So you get it from Elon on this one, then you get it from Tim Cook on this one, right? Then we move all the way to the bottom. Boom, FTX collapses, right? Game over. Move up in here. When we get here, Bitcoin to $1 million in 90 days. Ironically, we spend over 200 days in the range, right? What happens down here at this bottom? You have the SEC sue Coinbase and they sue Binance. Straight on out of there, right? This was amazing because this happens in 5 minutes with literally no narrative. Absolutely stunning. Everybody's very bearish at the bottoms, even though supports hold. We spend months on end fighting through this. You get to the top, and then now we get Bitcoin ETFs. We get it over and over of like euphoria narratives at the top, doom and destruction at the bottom, euphoria at the top, doom and destruction at the bottom, euphoria at peaks, right? So like you've lived through it. So hopefully just acknowledging it and recognizing that like when we try to like be like narratives are so important and good news is so great, remembering we're getting manipulated. by the news. We're getting persuaded to act in certain ways. And was this like, if FTX walks out of this thing and all these customers get repaid, then that was likely the biggest scam in history. And politicians in play with it. Right? How do you not think that? Like, how can you not think that if all the customers get repaid and he doesn't get any type of sentence? Like, he did his job. He played his role. Anyway, if you're trading the news wire, good luck. I wish you the best of luck. M-Day says, is sell in May go away still a concern? Right. So that's when moon end question. You know, it's a normal saying that happens. Why? It's what we talked about last year. We typically tend to have cruel summers. Summers do not tend to produce epic results. So people typically sell in May, go enjoy their summer, come back September, ramp it back up all over again. Right. So what are the reasons why May was an interesting time period? Well, it was based on when Fed rate cuts would happen, right? Retail investors think that Fed rate cuts are bullish and an opportunity to just absolutely moon and have a wonderful time. They all, in the last 20 years, they have symbolized death and destruction of the stock market when the rate cuts do happen. Now those rate cuts keep getting pushed back, so that timeline doesn't really match up anymore. So we'll just have to kind of wait and see. But to say, here's the exact time and the day to hit the sell button, like you're asking, is May the day we sell? It could show up in a surprise. I would not count on it's happening in May. And anytime in the future, just, time predictions, everybody wants them. Everybody wants a time prediction. Don't fall for it that you think you're going to nail your timing. Healthcare, pharmaceutical, bigger than United Health. Wow. But I don't, what percentage share does it represent the Dow Jones? Ahmed Yusuf, thank you very much. Robert with the super sticker. Mic drop. Robert Barker, BCB. How do you turn soup into gold? You add some carrots. I'll have to consult with my wife on if that was funny or not. I don't know. Thank you, Robert. Altcoin artisan, if possible, pull back. What's your guess for Cardano? Let's see. I don't know. See, Cardano is still just range bound, right? So, like, where are you at? Nothing significant for Cardano yet in regards to retracement exits. I'm frank with you, it's just a difficult one on whether or not it's going to just hold these lows or not. Is it going to liquidate down to this level or not? It's that one people keep asking me about Cardano, and I'm just very wishy-washy on this one. On, like, if it pulls a V-chain style move, boom, it's out, right? Like, this is the same thing. You see it, right? There it is, all of your accumulation. There's your sign of strength, waiting for just a pop to pop it out of there. But it hasn't shown up yet. So not sure on this one. Because, like, I don't know if it's going to get there. Like, this would make such logical sense, but it doesn't mean it's going to get there because it's already found one supportive level that it's already hit. And all it would take is a spark for it to shoot out of there, like you just saw with VeChain. And that could come, right? You could get that spark blast out, or it's just not ready and it just kind of keeps drifting. It's going to be whenever the animal spirits wake up for this one. Bryson, BCB, have you seen Raoul Paul call for a 200K Bitcoin? I know your thesis, but just to clarify, if the stock market holds, then do you see Bitcoin going to those levels? Not a maxi, by the way, XRP, baby. So I don't usually comment on other analysts' calls. It's just not my style. It's just kind of a golden rule I've had the whole time I've done the channel. everybody's welcome to their own opinion. Everybody can, think whatever they want. I don't see it. I've brought it up, like, the only way I could see Bitcoin going into a new all-time high is just kind of continuing the super cycles and being slower and slower and slower over time. But the thing that just concerns me right now is the United States stock market being at the levels that it's at, and that these levels and the behavior that we're having right now are not mimicking that of bull runs. We're not behaving that way. And one of the things we've talked about a lot has been, prior to leading up to this moment, is whether or not we would end up getting a retrace, or if we would end up getting like what we saw in the great financial crisis. And as time goes on, we get it. It's like, okay, we're getting something like this. And then you look at these things and you say, what was happening in the market here? Were there any underlying signs happening in the market here where we go take out these highs, but it is not actually a bull market, and the market completely loses itself afterwards? What were the elements that were happening in there that were not happening there on a breakout, not happening there on a breakout, and not happening there on a breakout? What made these ones different and made them fake, right? And the market is signaling under the hood, this is the same conditions as these and not the same conditions as these right here. So, I don't know what his call is. I hope he's right, man. Rock and roll, dude. If he's right, heck, man. Our altcoin bags are going to be just skyrocketed to unbelievably great heights, right? I'll take it all day. Even like here's the thing too. Like, imagine this. I want everybody to think in their head. What would happen to the altcoin market in the event of a $200,000 Bitcoin? Okay. Like, here you go. Do this example here. Right? So do this exercise. This is what happens, right? Like, you have all of history to go back and look on and see these things that we put on the daily, because it just TradingView likes to break. That when this happens, the altcoin market rampages, right? And the altcoin market tends to rampage thousands of percents, regardless of how high Bitcoin goes, right? If a $200,000 Bitcoin came, then we'd pretty much be seeing the things that we always see. This breaks out, off and away goes the altcoin market, and it just goes to absolute skyrocketing heights, right? In those moments. What is the math for a $200,000 Bitcoin? It is a 287% gain. So you have $1,000 you put in. Congratulations, by the end of it, you have $3,870. That's not why people come to crypto, like, at all, right? I look at those percentages and say to myself, if that's where we're heading, I don't care about 287% at all. Like, at all. 287% would be absolutely horrible returns in an environment that is that bullish. And in my newsletters, I've run through all the data. I've run through the top 100 coins, every single one of them in 2018 to 2021. Every single one of them. I've done them all, and they're all in the newsletters. I've done all the calculations and all the percentages and every single one, and the top performers and the worst performers, every one of them. This would be the worst performing percentage you could get. In an environment like that, be awful. Do I want that to happen in this market? Oh my gosh. It would just be a dream for that to happen. Would I chase Bitcoin? Not a chance. Not a chance. Because all the excitement would be in these things. And that's just math. And that's why I talk about percentages mean everything. Price does not. 200,000. Wow, what a big number. It's so amazing. Can you believe it? One Bitcoin's worth $200,000. But it doesn't matter because the only thing that matters is percentage. Price literally means nothing. Price is trash. Who cares about price? It means nothing. It is only the percentage that matters. And that's what we all get blindsided by. And that's why, it makes great headlines and it gets great clicks and it gets lots of likes and it gets lots of retweets. Bitcoin, $50,000 up 1.1%. Do I want it? I'd love it. But I wouldn't love it because I care about 287%. I'd love it because this stuff would go ballistic. What would they put the market cap of Bitcoin at? What would they put the market cap of crypto at? How much money would just be sloshing around in this market? It'd be incredible how much money would slosh around in here. But I just would not care in the least bit about Bitcoin. I'd be over here just cracked out from the overstimulation happening in the altcoin market at that time. But yeah, like I said, though, we don't have the same conditions in the market for something like that to happen. So hopefully it's not just a dream. I will hope Mr. Raoul is correct. Again, right? I'm not here to critique anybody. I don't ever to talk about other analysts. I wish him the best. I hope he is the one who's correct. Terrence Rafferty. Thank you, BCB. What is a healthy number to hold for XRP on a back test? Thank you. What is a healthy number to hold? Is that straight up financial advice? Sir, I don't know if you live in a cardboard box or if you live in a mansion. Right. I don't know if you're living paycheck to paycheck or if you've sold a business and you're living off a couple million and retired on the couch. That is a personal decision for everybody on your risk tolerance and what is a responsible figure for you. Yeah, that's totally a decision for you, brother. Terrence, thank you. I doubt you live in a cardboard box. I mean, you super chatted, probably doing a little bit better than that. But that's a personal decision. Thank you, man. Samuel Williams, these dad jokes are a bit corny. Okay, I get it. I try to deliver it for you in the dad stuff, but I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. Your question was, what is the price number? I thought you were asking me how many XRP. And here I am all rambling. Sir. Here, but it doesn't mean Wix can't go through, right? Really, the way my immediate thoughts would start getting very concerned is really if we went below 51. If we go below 51, then I'm going to say, not holding, not looking good, unquestionable. Are we going to hold right here on this random line I've put on here? Probably not. Are we going to wick here? Very likely. Will we wick to here? Very possible. Here? Very possible. But, will it hold in there? If we go start taking out that lows, I'll get very concerned. We go down here. It looks very poor. It looks very poor. Definitely not below 51. Definitely not below 51 to sit there and have optimism. Starts getting very concerning. And then we take out 50. Very, 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 very concerning. Just no positive structure to it at all at that point. It will just be we're just repeating ourselves. Nothing is strong here. And that's going to be the challenge right now because we know we should do this. This is the thing we should do in both circumstances. We know we should pull out. We know we should be back testing this level. We know we should be, but we shouldn't be losing it. You know what I mean? And so it's going to be down below those lows, right? So a wick down, something like that. It's not going to be a big deal, but closing below Closing below this 50 cent level, especially, probably even that 51. Yuck. But a back test should be happening. Tony, you mentioned vet breaking through. Did you ever chart it for the Okay, let's go ahead and stop right there because we did a really good job. Like, I'm not going to talk about VeChain. I understand a lot of XRP community members are VeChain community members, and it's all interwebbed within each other. We don't. It's not. If you guys do ask for VeChain stuff, it's just at this point, because I had stopped that for a long time. It will become, thank you for the super chat, but we're not going to go into it. So kind of squash it right there. Yeah, we're done. Tony, we're done. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. This is the standard VeChain behavior of what happens. So if you guys, anytime this happens, I don't know why it's with the VeChain people. We just get VeChain. They want to talk about it. They want it to be pumped, but we can't do it. Why did the Fibonacci sequence invest in XRP? Because it saw the potential for golden ratios in its price fluctuations. Hit that like button. Oh. Rough, man. Rough and like I don't get it. Rough and like I'm too dumb. Why did the Fibonacci sequence invest in XRP? Because it saw the potential for golden ratios in its price fluctuations. Hit that like button. Let's see. Tensley, bro, did not answer my super quick chat question. Tensley, let me see if I can find it, man. Where is it, dude? I don't see it. Was it yesterday? Man, some of them, I felt bad, man, guys. Some of them didn't show up in my thing yesterday. After the chat, I said, no. Did I miss some? Okay. Tensei, Airsoft. You're not showing up in my... Oh, there it is. Hi, Pookie. Do you have something to say about DOT? Not really. It's looking like the rest of the market. Very high development activity. Ridiculous amount of developers. But still, same stuff. Trying to build a sign of strength to escape. There you go, brother. Eric, I love your dad jokes. Sorry. I'm just brutal. Just like this is how you got to expect it. I'm brutal with them. Don't worry. PTW sits around listening to the channel the whole time, and she absolutely just eats it up. It's like her thing. So just know that she is loving life, and she's always listening to the show. Okay. There we have it. As we head into the weekend-o, Bitcoin has hit its almost hit it. 702 Fibonacci retracement here this week. See if we have one more little touch-a-risky to happen here. If we can go ahead and shift our way into like an ABC correction happening here for Bitcoin now. Nice moves over there in the altcoin market to get escape from the range. I think next week we'll still just kind of spend the next couple of weeks getting back in here. Maybe it's less than a couple of weeks. You know, timing is difficult, but pulling back and pulling back to back test seems like our next phase happening in here. These are all optimistic things. These are good things to see for the altcoin market. Not so certain about Bitcoin, but very, very positive things developed throughout the week for the remainder of the market. XRP able to get out there, get up to 57, 58 cents. Now it's going to be about having that successful back test, hopefully holding that 53, 54 cent area, and then moving on into, I missed Ethan Davis. Okay, so I'll get to Ethan too. Successful back test and then continuing our way up. As for the stock market this week, red week this week, right? Is it red? Wow, the Dow wasn't red. How was the Dow not red? It was like that big old sell-off that happened this week. Unreal. Oh, because yesterday gave a lot of it back. Okay. Red day to end Friday over here in the stock market, though, as we had at least like NASDAQ futures over here hit that 4.236 extension. So look out for next week. We'll see how next week goes for that stuff with the stock market. The DXY Still just creeping along in here, waiting for a reversal to show up in there as gold sits at $2,009. Look at that. Then it reversed right back up. Gold has been a little bit of a wacky one this morning. That's for sure. So gold back at $2,008. Again, I wrote up a lot about the stock market, Bitcoin, and the gold confluence and convergence of events that are happening in the market currently right now. If you haven't checked out my newsletters, I do have a lot of pride in these. I put these together with great thought, and then I do audio record them as well. This most recent one is 23 minutes long. Of course, if you're looking for videos from me, you're looking for education on how to set up your own charts and your own indicators in TradingView and CoinTrader Pro, whether you're a brand new beginner, first timer, or you're a seasoned pro, I'm certain that you will learn something in here. And I try to talk in the same manner and communicate in the same manner that I do here on the YouTube channel. So it's an easy to understand way and not PowerPoints and boring stuff. If you like the YouTube videos, if you like the way I handle myself here on YouTube, be very similar content here over here on bcbacker.com. Over 40 videos, over 11 hours of content to get you through your weekend. Otherwise, a ton of great data and information over here on the Substack at blockchainbacker.substack.com. Let me get back to these super chats. I need to find the one from Ethan Davis that I missed. Where can these fine people go to get the best merch in the land? Sir, you are the man. Let's see. Right? We haven't pulled up the merch store in a while. But for the newbies who are tuning in to the BCB channel thinking, why would he be like this at 7:02? Because we talk about it all so often. I have a coffee mug. So get yourself a coffee mug over here. Live in the moment. You were here when it actually happened on February 15th, 2024, when the 702 was reached over there on Bitcoin. You watched the Blockchain Backer YouTube channel and you got a cup to prove you were there. There you go. Yeah, PTW probably wants me to show this stuff because she helped put a lot of this stuff together over there. You got shirts. You got It's Wednesday, my dude, shirts with the BCB logo on the back. So you got bingo cups. You got 702 cups, duffel bags. Your baby definitely needs an It's Wednesday logoed shirt. Your lady needs that as well. We don't have the leggings on here anymore because they were a little see-through. We have a pair here in the house, and I'm not complaining. But I don't know. We took them down. Your baby could definitely have a nice little onesie, though. You could have a coffee tumbler. Your dog absolutely needs a Blockchain Backer shirt. I think there are XRP ones in there, too. Of course, you got to have a Blockchain Backer coffee mug to go with your 702 mug. And then your ladies. Hey, ladies, you can have you can get your lady a super short sweater where like it's only halfway up, like the whole bottom half of that thing is missing. You can get that for her. But most importantly, your 702 mug to prove you were there. There you go. PTW, there you go. Pitched it. Oh, and then Oscar just super chatted and just put the link. Thank you, Oscar. Let me get these other ones that I missed. Eric Martinson, why did the Fibonacci? Okay, I got that one. Infernal, hey, I'm back. If we have a Dow dump on the Fib and the Bitcoin follows it, can the alt still have a run? Love your lives, by the way. I'm here every day. I'd probably go back and watch today's live stream. Go through the model log. go through it all, Manuel, because you're asking me to, or Infernal, you're asking me to kind of repeat everything we've already said. Go back and check it out, brother. So, all right, guys. Sorry, dude. I can't put another white dude's face on my wife. I hear you, dude. I hear you. I feel that. But you can get yourself one, bro. You can rock it. You can be the boss. Okay. There we go. That's it. Enjoy the newsletter. Enjoy bcbacker.com. Enjoy your 702 mugs. Have a wonderful weekend. All right, guys, that's going to be it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in. What a spectacular week. I guess, how do I do this? That's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you could, please like this live stream and give it a thumbs up. If you are new to the channel, please subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be notified of when I create new content and when I go live. As always, this is not investment advice and I am not a financial advisor, but if you ever need a pick-me-up or a little bit of reassurance, just remember that the blockchain backers got your back. Have a great weekend, one.